It was a visual experiment disguised as network television. Every shadow had a motive. Every sound had a pulse. But what many don't realize are the sneaky production touches that made the show what it was. Some were carefully planned, some were born on the spot, and some were complete accidents. But all of them were pure genius. Here are 16 production secrets that made The X-Files legendary. Tell me in the comments how many of these you knew, and let me know if there's any detail I missed. The Van City secret. Vancouver wasn't just a location. It was a living organism that breathed through every frame. Chris Carter quickly realized that the city's endless drizzle and long, dim winter days gave him something money couldn't buy: texture. John Bartley, the show's director of photography, didn't hide from the rain. He orchestrated it. He backlit real rainfall, pumped steam through trees, and swept beams of light through the mist. Raindrops weren't obstacles. They were moving mirrors. They bounced light onto faces, turned puddles into stage lights, and gave every night a pulse. When the show moved to Los Angeles, that magic evaporated. Sunlight flattened the shadows, the asphalt dried, and the atmosphere, that cold, claustrophobic gleam, was gone. The crew responded by literally manufacturing weather: towers spraying artificial drizzle, foggers running non-stop, filters cooling the light back to that northern gray. Vancouver's climate had been an uncredited co-star, and they spent the rest of the run trying to recreate its ghost. Darkness out of necessity. Early episodes had almost no budget for lighting, so Bartley did something radical. He treated darkness as a character. He carved scenes out of blackness, letting the unknown swallow half the frame. Mulder and Scully's flashlights became the only actors that never missed a cue. Narrow beams cutting through vapor, trembling with every step. Viewers weren't observing an investigation. They were trapped inside it. Every shadow could hide a threat, and every beam of light became a confession. Bartley described the approach like painting a Rembrandt with a flashlight. Faces half revealed, eyes glinting, the rest consumed by void. When fans complained they couldn't see anything, Carter grinned. That was the point. Darkness kept the show honest, a reminder that what you can't see is always bigger than what you can. Cold opens that rewrote the rules. Network TV in the early 90s tended to play it safe. Open with credits, ease the viewer in. Carter shattered that convention. He wanted each episode to start like a short film, a silent scream before the title. Director Rob Bowman remembered the rule: grab them before they blink. They shot dialogue in silhouettes, staged long, wordless takes, and let the camera wander like a predator. A farmhouse at dawn, a figure gliding through sleeping houses, a chicken coop crawling with worms. You didn't know what you were watching, only that something was wrong. Then came the famous sting. Those 2 minutes changed television structure forever. The X-Files cold open became shorthand for storytelling that respected the audience's curiosity and punished its comfort. The mistake that made a theme. Mark Snow wasn't hunting for a masterpiece. He was frustrated, tinkering in his studio. Then, a slip. His elbow grazed the keyboard, tripping an echo effect. A looping, eerie pulse hummed through the speakers. Chris Carter froze. "That's it," he said. "That's our sound." Snow built on the mistake, weaving in a ghostly whistle from a synth patch and his wife Glenn's breathy melody. He layered reversed reverb and subtle, pulsing beats, crafting a theme that felt alive, lonely, like a secret whispered in the dark. Snow called it a puff of smoke vanishing into thin air. Fans called it iconic. That accidental echo became the heartbeat of a cultural phenomenon. The real FBI connection. Carter knew that for the unbelievable to work, the believable had to be bulletproof. So he brought in real FBI consultants. Agents reviewed scripts line by line, corrected jargon, redesigned case files, and taught the actors the exact way to enter a room with a weapon drawn. Gillian Anderson learned two-handed stances, Duchovny learned interrogation posture. Even their badge flips came from bureau protocol. The realism grounded the absurd. Viewers might doubt aliens, but they trusted those agents. The Bureau later admitted that recruitment spiked after the show's debut. People wanted to join the real X-Files. Carter's blend of authenticity and madness made paranoia feel professional. The Monster of the Week blueprint. Inside the writer's room, there was no grand Bible of creatures, only piles of local newspapers, urban legend books, and police blotters. Carter's rule was simple. If it could happen in one night in one small town, it could be an episode. Writers mined headlines for parasites, conspiracies, and mutations. Home, The Host, and Bad Blood all came from that chaos. The show could pivot from gothic tragedy to farce without losing its soul. That elasticity kept it alive for 9 seasons. Each week, a new nightmare that felt like it might really be lurking outside your window. The cigarette smoke that wasn't smoke. Did you know the show's most infamous smoker was not a smoker? Actor William B. Davis was forced to puff on herbal cigarettes made from corn leaves and lettuce. They smelled like burning hay and tasted worse. He joked that his greatest performance wasn't villainy, it was pretending not to gag. But those curls of backlit smoke became visual poetry, a veil between truth and deception. The cigarette-smoking man didn't just symbolize conspiracy. He was the atmosphere, toxic, elegant, and impossible to ignore. Real science behind the fear. The writer's motto, make the impossible feel peer-reviewed. They devoured journals and white papers called Real Scientists and built stories around plausible pseudoscience. Episodes about genetic memory or cryonic viruses read like abstracts from the CDC. That realism fooled viewers into believing the unthinkable might already be in a lab somewhere. Fans dubbed it plausible paranoia. It's why the X-Files scared smart people. The monsters came with footnotes. Creating fear through suggestion. Carter and Bowman had a rule: show less, feel more. If a monster entered the set, Bowman dimmed lights until you saw only movement or shadow. Anderson and Duchovny often acted opposite half-glimpsed shapes or empty space, letting imagination fill in the horror. Carter said, "What you don't see is scarier than what you do." It's why episodes like Eve can terrify without a single prosthetic. Fear isn't in the creature, it's in the cut. Leaving the threat just beyond the flashlight beam turned suspense into an art form. Nightmares built by hand. Long before CGI ruled, the X-Files built nightmares by hand. Makeup wizard Toby Lindala engineered parasites and alien skins using latex, tubing, and microfilaments that pulsed under translucent molds. For the episode Ice, he created worms by stringing beads under fake skin so they slithered when pulled. A real dog was swapped with a prop one. A puppet worm crawled beneath its fur. The network worried it went too far, but ultimately let every frame air. The result was disgusting, mesmerizing authenticity. Lindala's craftsmanship gave the series its gritty tactility. You could almost smell the fear. When practical met digital. When the show finally used computers, it blended them with the real thing. Matt Beck's visual effects team would layer subtle CGI over practical footage. A digital shimmer added to a physical prop so you couldn't tell where one ended. Fake skins flexed with hidden cables while rendered worms squirmed beneath. That handshake between analog and digital became the model for later sci-fi TV. A little real, a little unreal, and the audience believing both. Filmmaking inside a TV show. Carter told his crew, think like filmmakers, not television directors. Bowman, Manners, and Nutter answered by breaking rules. They used lens flares as punctuation, Dutch angles to distort perception, and long, dialogue-free takes that forced viewers to feel instead of just watch. Bowman said, sometimes it's the downbeats between notes that engage the audience. Silence, pauses, negative space, all tools for tension. The result was a show that looked and breathed like cinema long before anyone called it prestige TV. The poster that defined the series. Mulder's office poster, that blurry UFO and the words, "I want to believe," wasn't marketing. It was Chris Carter's manifesto. He described himself as a non-religious man searching for a religious experience. The poster captured that yearning perfectly. Faith in the unseen, hope without proof. It became both prop and thesis. A reminder that the show wasn't really about aliens, but about humanity's hunger for meaning. Every case file, every pursuit, every near miss traced back to that one need, to believe in something bigger than yourself. Easter eggs in the dark. Even at its darkest, the crew left breadcrumbs of humor. Those eerie twin girls in Eve, they were named Cindy and Tina, after the wives of writers Glenn Morgan and James Wong. Set decorators reused props from old episodes. Mulder's basement office was a Frankenstein of leftover Star Trek cabinets and Western desks. Names on manila folders slipped in old teachers and the crew's inside jokes, like Samuel A. Mulder as a nod to David Duchovny's middle name. Mulder's apartment 42? That was Duchovny's geeky tribute to the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, where 42 answers life's big questions. In the episode Hollywood AD, Duchovny snuck his real dog Blue into a movie premiere scene, wagging through the chaos. And in that same episode, a line about Téa Leoni, his actual wife, crushing on Mulder, winked at their off-screen romance. For hardcore fans, spotting these became a sport. The deeper you looked, the more personal fingerprints you found, proof that even a show about cosmic emptiness was made by people having mischievous fun in the dark. No easy answers. Carter hated neat resolutions. He believed pretending to explain the unexplainable insulted the audience's intelligence. So most episodes end mid-mystery. The evidence lost, the witness vanished, the question unresolved. That ambiguity became addictive. Viewers argued, theorized, wrote essays. By refusing to deliver closure, the show turned every fan into an investigator. You didn't just watch The X-Files, you joined it. The episode that proved less is more. Some of the most terrifying episodes used no effects at all. Eve, a story of cloned children and whispered murders, relied entirely on mood. No prosthetics, no gore, just stillness, sound design, and implication. Carter said it best. The mind's fears are stronger than any monster suit. A tilted camera, a giggle in the dark, a teddy bear left facing the wall. That was enough. The horror didn't leap at you, it crept behind you. So, how many of these did you know before this video? Let me know in the comments. And if you haven't already, subscribe for more sci-fi secrets. Thanks for watching.